Hi, hi, yes. Well, the reason why I went live today is to do an update on a leader of I'll say a kind of a cult, I'll say. Anyway, Immortal Morals put up about the other day about the Black Hammer Party the other day and the leader. I'm going to put her link underneath the video. And today, I heard he got arrested. So I'm going to show, hopefully it'll work. I'm going to show his arrest. I didn't even know about the Black Hammers, to be honest. I know about another group that is called the Black Axe in Nigeria, which is a cult kind of party as well. So I assumed it was the same people. But when Immortal Morals explained who exactly he is and stuff like that, but I'm not gonna put. I'm gonna put up her video as well. Let me get her video as well. Let me get her video as well, so you can see who the black. I'm going to show who he is first. Let's see if I can find it, because I didn't know about him, about the Black Hammers. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, I can't even find it now. Oh yeah, he's the first video. I didn't even notice. Alright, so what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna play the newsreel of the guy, the leader that got arrested, the Black Hammer leader, Black Hammer Party leader that got arrested, and then I'm gonna play who he is, so you can get to know who he is, because I didn't know who he was. I honestly can say that. It seems like Georgia has a lot of different groups, different sets. I think he's from Georgia as well. So, and when you hear what he did, what he's done as well, it's even more crazier. So, okay, let me also say this as well. Yesterday, I happened to come across a Queen Throne video talking about Miko, who did kind of similar charges to this guy as well, and he also has a kind of a following, but that's just a whole nother situation altogether. He's from Atlanta as well. He's from Georgia, which is interesting. There seems to be a whole lot of weird, freaky people. Hi, Big Philly. A whole lot of weird freakiness. I don't know. I don't know whether it's the place. I don't know. Anyway. But I'm gonna play this guy because I honestly didn't know who he was. I never heard of him in my life. Being that I'm from the UK, normally the UK, we hear most of what goes. We know most of the groups in America. Most of the Black Power groups in America. This case, I didn't know who he was, but from the video you can tell who he is and what he's about anyway. So I'm going to play the newsreel on this guy, and then I'm going to go to Immortal Morals and play her video so you can get up to speed exactly who he is, okay? Because this is going to be a pretty short one anyway. So I'm going to play the newsreel first, then I'll play Immortal Morals.
Shocking allegations tonight against the leader of the Black Hammer Party and one of its members.
This comes after a deadly SWAT standoff in Fayetteville. Fox's Doug Evans has more.
That standoff lasted 6 hours Tuesday after a 911 caller claimed to be a captive in the Fayetteville home. Arrest warrants obtained by Fox 5 say 2 men were being held captive in the home at gunpoint by a group called the Black Hammer Party. Those warrants accuse self-proclaimed Black Hammer leader Augustus Romaine of kidnapping, aggravated assault, aggravated sodomy, as well as gang activity after the two men were allegedly ordered into a padlocked garage at gunpoint. In those warrants, Fayetteville police say Xavier Russian was one of two Black Hammer members who participated in the kidnapping of the men. He's charged with kidnapping, aggravated assault, and gang activity, as well as obstructing police. On Tuesday, a neighbor shot this video of police detaining Russian outside the home. They claim he was resisting and reaching for a gun in his pocket. The warrants identified Amonte Ammons as the second Black Hammer member who allegedly participated in the kidnapping. After the standoff Tuesday, Fayetteville police say they found Ammons' body in the home with a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. The Black Hammer website says its mission is to, quote, take the land back for all colonized people. In media reports, it has been labeled an extremist group. Former members tell Fox 5 it's a cult. Romaine and Russian are being held in the Fayette County Jail without bond. In Fayette County, Doug Evans, Fox 5 News.
Okay, so as they said,
Family members of this man, Bradley.
as they said, they put him down as a cult, and that's exactly what Mortimer's said he was as well. So I'm gonna play Mortimer's video as well, because it seems like she said, because on her video she explains that it seems like there's similarities of, you know, cult-like behavior, you know, and as cults has been covered on here before, I feel this is fitting because he got taken down in a different way, I suppose, as to the other cult leader. Now, I know some people don't like to talk about cults, but there are a lot of different cults. It doesn't matter what it looks like. They are very rife in different places. They come in different forms. They come under different names. They can start off meaning something good and then they turn into something else. So let me get more tomorrow's video up, so you could get up to speed to who this person is, because there's a lot of videos out there covering him. Now, I might just do more backstory to him, because he's a very different character. So to start off with this interesting, strange group, just watch the leader. He's so, you know, he's very flamboyant. I give him that. Let's listen to the details to whom the Black Hammer Party is, because they just sound interesting at the same time. I've never heard of them, so I can honestly say that. So I'm gonna play.
Exactly. And what exactly is the Black Hammer organization or the Black Hammer group? Who are these people?
Hello, Antifa. It's me, Ghazi, the Commander-in-Chief of the Black Hammer Organization. Land back. Land back. Land back. Land back. I heard you had some not so nice things to say about me. I heard you had some nice things to say about my hammers. I heard you had not so nice things to do to one of my members, one of my dear, dear members, an African Filipino mother that you doxed and thought you could get away with it, thought we were going to back down, thought we were going to take it. No, that's not going to happen. You messed with the wrong one this time. Yes, yes, you did. Oh, yes, you did. Because we don't take it lightly when harm is done to our African colonized women. And that's why at Black Hammer we say, touch one, touch all. 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 And you touched one of us. So now you touched all of us, and we're gonna have to do something about it. Land back, land back, land back, land back, land back, land back. And then you wanted to talk about me. You wanted to call me anti-Semitic. You wanted to call me an anti-vaxxer because we're against vaccines. You wanted to call me all kinds of horrific things. But I don't really give a damn. And none of us give a damn. But where you went wrong was when you doxed one of my members, an amazing African Filipino mother. And you made her so worried about her own safety that she had to pay for a more expensive security system, and she could barely afford it because you know that's the reality of us poor and working class Black people. We just don't have money to spend, make it rain like that, and especially not with COVID taking all of our jobs away. So we told you need to pay up. We told you need to give reparations to our comrade that you doxed. And let me clear up all those nasty things you want to say about me and say about my hammer. Land back, land back, land back, land back, land back, land back. See, Antifa, you want to co-opt our movement, but we're not going to let it happen. Not this time. Mayo boys and girls in your suburban world want to jump on our hashtags just so you can come outside and play a video game and bust some windows, huh? Break down some businesses. Well, you've been messing up because you've been destroying Black and brown businesses. Yeah, the hair braiders and the barbers, the bodegas. You've been messing with our Black and brown businesses. Small businesses that literally uphold 12 to 20 family members. Just so you could play in the streets like the heroes or something. And then with an organization, Black Hammer, that's actually led by colonized people, Black and brown, poor working class people, you know, the ones that are actually dying, the ones that are actually dying. We're the Deontay Taylors. We're the Mike Browns. We're the Sandra Blands. So who the heck are you leading all these protests? Who the heck are you? Talking to you too, BLM. We know you're paid for by the Democratic Party. We know you'll do anything that the Democrats say. You're not for our people. You're pocketing all that money. Yeah, I saw that you made $2 billion this summer off of George Floyd's name. Fakers. But we've been leading our own thing. We've been doing our own thing. And then people wants to co-opt it. Nope, not gonna happen. They want to dox one of our members and think they get away with it. Nope, it's not gonna happen. Land back, land back, land back, land back. So we're coming here today to say very clearly, 1, don't touch African colonized women, children, men, any of us, but specifically African colonized women. And if you think that we're joking, if you think that we're playing, maybe you should ask my niece's ex-boyfriend who hit her and knocked her tooth out of her mouth. Ask him how he's doing, because the streets may call him Jarrell, but I call him Sweet Booty. Ain't that right, Sweet Booty?
Dr. York, and looking and reading through the pictures and the articles and the videos of this particular organization, I realized that there's so many similarities with Carbonation and this particular organization. Very, very similarities. It's uncanny. It's weird. And I don't know what it is about Atlanta or Georgia and these cults, but it's strange. There's a lot of them there. I mean, Dr. York's people are still there. These people were there, based there. You know, the Carbons, were residing there. And as you look through these videos, pictures, articles, everything, whatever, just kind of give you an idea of who these people are. Look at the pictures and look how similar they are to old pictures of Carbonation or when they were Melanation. They're so similar. And the leader of the group is very he's a character. He's a character. And people with these kinds of personalities can easily influence vulnerable people. And it's obvious. And a lot of people were hurt in this organization. And some have transitioned in this organization, just like Carbonation. So I just want you guys to take a look at the similarities, at the pictures, the I don't know, the verbiage, the mission. It's so secluded, and it's weird how people formulate these organizations as if it seems like they intend it, they start off with good intentions. It seems that way all the time, but it never ever ends that way. Ever. The lines always get blurred. It begins as a concern for the people. And concern for the people ends up equating to people being hurt, manipulated, humiliated, beaten. I mean, how does that happen? And this is just another sad story of yet another Black cult in our community that you guys probably didn't know of. And here you go. Let's take a look.
I love you long, I love you strong. Touch one.
Touch all.
Touch one of us, touch all of us. Amen.
Amen.
I told you I had a word for you today. Amen. Give him glory.
Okay, so according to their website, the Black Hammer Party exists to take the land back for all colonized people worldwide. We are focused on building dual contending power, of and for the colonized masses. Under the leadership of the colonized poor and working class, our mission is to use our collective building power to unite, strengthen, and liberate all colonized nations. Okay, so what does Wikipedia say about the Black Hammer Party? The Black Hammer Party, formerly the Black Hammer Organization, is an American black nationalist political organization founded in Atlanta, Georgia in 2019, who advertises itself as a symbol of hope for the colonized working class. They rose to prominence in the early 2020s amidst the George Floyd protests and their attempted creation of a commune in the Rocky Mountains named Hammer City. The Atlanta Journal Constitution described the organization as mixing black nationalist rhetoric and a revolutionary message with hot button issues like anti vaccine myths and election conspiracies. Commentators, including former leaders and members, have referred to the organization as a cult. Ghazi Kodzo, The People's Robin Hood, by Chief Oju Mokaro. I met Ghazi Kodzo for the first time in Chicago toward the beginning of the pandemic. Actually, more specifically, it was a few days after George Floyd was murdered by the pigs in Minneapolis. We went to a protest in downtown Chicago, and in addition to exclaiming for justice at the top of our lungs, we distributed free KN95 masks to colonized people at the protest. It was early on the pandemic, so many people were going completely maskless, even though hundreds were still dying in the hospitals. People were angry, and it made sense that no one was actively informed about how to stay safe. It took this country 2 years to even say KN95 masks were better than others. However, Commander Ghazi understood, and they wanted to protect their people. So we passed out the mask, and she slayed doing it. Locks in the head wrap for protection from the virus and wearing their beloved camel jacket. Kino wears that camel jacket now, but of course he styled it for himself. Now it ain't got no sleeves. That's what it says. Now, as revolutionaries, we don't measure someone's merit by subjective memories or circumstances. Revolutionary work isn't about feelings, opinions, vibes. It's about what is, what it says, what is work. The work exposes all, and from passing out KN95 masks at George Floyd protests in Chicago to passing out bans to the homeless in Atlanta, the work exposes that Ghazi Kodzo is indeed the people's Robin Hood.
Oh, white man!
I'm back. This is I, and I'm a recruit for the Black Hammer Organization's
No!
Reparations Corps. Join us every single Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to follow the biggest and the baddest anti-colonial organization in organizing your community against white nationalism.
Keep in mind, their enemies aren't white nationalists. White nationalists and black separatists actually get along. Historically, they've been allies.
Revolution is people work, so Black Hammer wants you to sign up today at blackhammer.org/reparations. Learn to unite your friends and neighbors under the banner of anti-colonialism.
Nice. He speaks like they're holding him hostage. Yeah, they've fucking got a gun to his head just off camera. God almighty. Oh, dude. Oh, God. There really aren't that many of them, but the people who unironically demonstrate white guilt make me want to crawl out of my skin. I've mentioned this before, but like, have any of the black people watching right now, have you ever dated a white person who was really weird about this? I'm so sorry about everything that my people have done to your people. You know, I try to be. At least one of you here has experienced this, okay? Come on, I see some yeses already. Yeah. Oh God. Now, of course, nobody's ever done this to make some white guys, so nobody's ever apologized for their existence to me. But I imagine that would make me want to die. Like that would make me want to die.
Tonight, we're getting an inside look at a deadly SWAT standoff involving an extremist group in Fayetteville. It all started when someone in that group home called 911.
They call themselves the Black Hammer Party, and former members say the leader hijacked the movement and held them against their will. Tonight, they're speaking only to Fox 5's Rob D'Arienzo.
The Black Hammer Party is an organization widely considered a fringe extremist group that former members say targets people who are homeless for recruitment. I spoke to one of the 9 people who were in the Fayetteville house on the morning of the deadly SWAT standoff. That person says the surviving members of the group are looking for them, so we agreed to conceal their identity.
We woke up and the police and everything were surrounding the house, so we were asked to come out one by one.
This former member of Black Hammer says the 6-hour standoff was terrifying. Police say they got a 911 call from inside the house from someone who said they were being held against their will in the garage.
I could have been next. I would have been next.
I was starved out, sleep deprived. I couldn't take it no more, and I just wanted to go home.
Former members say the group's leader, Ghazi Kadzo, real name Augustus Romaine, took young homeless people in from off the streets, promising them food, shelter, and income. They say once they were in, they couldn't get out.
Yeah, beat us. He would make us do physical labor. Like, he forced me to stand outside for like 5 hours with his defense, so I couldn't leave.
At the end of Tuesday's standoff, police say they found the body of 18-year-old Amonte Ammons, one of the alleged kidnappers, who the group calls their defense minister. Police say he killed himself. Ammons' mom, back home in North Carolina, says her son battled mental illness.
My son called me and told me he was in an organization and it was helping the homeless.
She says they took advantage of his condition and brainwashed him. She blames Black Hammer for her son's death.
There seems to be a first for the young people, because in every group there is a lot of, like, young people seems to be the biggest recruited group for these cults. So, I mean, that mother, she have all rights to say what she has to say, because if he had mental health and he's joined something that is like in as I can say what they say, extreme as you know, I mean, it's like, you know, it's like they're trying to link things to the Black Panther Party, but the Black Panther Party did good in their community before they got struck down. It seems like people are just making parties and stuff and using it to take advantage of the vulnerable people of the, you know, which most cults have done. We've seen it with the old show cult, where they went out and they recruited homeless people, and then later on I think they got rid of them, and then they didn't know what they was enrolling for. And I think this is what's happened to these young people. But I listened to another person's opinion on Ghazi as well, and I'm going to play the podcast about Ghazi. He seemed to have links with Proud Boys and different other groups as well. He on the other hand, I think he is just power hungry. He didn't know who he was. Well, maybe he didn't know what he was or who he was or whatever. But it seemed like he enrolled people into stuff that they didn't know they was joining, because he speaks about Antifa and other stuff. It's just very, you know, it's like he's talking against colonizers, as he puts it. But I think he was around the Proud Boys, because one podcaster said he was around the Proud Boys, and I was like, wow, okay. So I'm going to play this podcast that she might go over the same things that was already said, but it's fine, because we need to keep in mind, I don't know which one it is. Oh, that's the one. That Ghazi, obviously, whoever, I'm not gonna be I mean, he is part of the alphabet community. You can tell by his posture, by the way he talks. So, you know, you can tell by his posture, the way he talks and everything else. So I'm going to play this podcaster's opinion on his arrest, as well as she goes into details about other stuff as well. So I'm not going to make the video long. This is just information for those who do not know who the Black Hammer is and who the leader is. So I'm going to also look up details and put in the description box more information on him for those who do not know who he is. Okay? Because to me, you need to know who the players are, you know, and I know who they are, because, like, you know, they're the ones who's also getting to the young people's minds as well, making them do crazy stuff, as this incident has shown, you know, locking people in houses, depriving them of food and all this stuff is quite crazy. So I'm going to let this podcaster play. It might be a bit long, but it's okay, because we have to get in much detail as possible, because, like I said, I didn't know who he is, and I'm sure you don't know who he is. So we're going to get as much information as possible on this person.
To read. It's a cautionary tale. It's a cautionary tale about what happens when you try to separate yourself from the country that you live in and create your own society and government. It never ends well, because the reality is you just can't do that, because you have to have the resources and you don't. And that's the story of Ghazi Kozo. So Ghazi Kozo is a social media personality who is also a Black revolutionary. I remember him in the golden era of YouTube, when he basically was talking about racism, anti-Black racism, and it was around the time of the rise of BLM. And people made fun of him because he is a same gender loving Black man. He doesn't identify as gay, because gay, he says, is synonymous with white men, because they have the economics to move around freely, unlike gay Black men. So yesterday he was arrested for his connection in a standoff that resulted in the death of a young Black man. So it reads, according to 11 Alive, Black Hammer Party leader arrested in Fayetteville SWAT call where 18-year-old found dead. Ghazi Kozo, whose real name is Augustus Romaine, leads the group and was arrested on numerous charges in connection to the standoff. 2 men arrested following a SWAT standoff in Fayetteville, during which an 18-year-old was found dead, have ties to a group some call extremists, police confirm. One of them is the group's apparent leader. Law enforcement descended on the Woodbine subdivision Tuesday after a person called 911 from inside a home along Selwyn Court and whispered that they had been kidnapped by an organization, according to police. When officers arrived at home, they said 10 people were inside. According to investigators, 9 walked out of the home willingly, but an 18-year-old was found dead from a apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. Police blocked entry into the neighborhood for hours as they worked to clear both the home and the scene. Ultimately, people arrested 2 people who now both face multiple charges in connection to the SWAT incident. 11 Alive has since learned that those 2 people are part of the controversial Black Hammer Party, according to the Fayetteville Police Department. The group's spokesperson, Oju Mukara, confirmed the arrest online. Ghazi Kozo, whose real name is Augustus Romaine, reportedly leads the group. On Tuesday at the scene, the 36-year-old told 11 Alive he was the owner of the home where the SWAT standoff unfolded, and raised concerns about how the 18-year-old died, saying he didn't believe the gunshot wound was self-inflicted. However, he has now been charged with 2 counts each of aggravated sodomy, conspiracy to commit a felony, false imprisonment, kidnapping, aggravated assault, and criminal street gang activity. Ooh, they gonna get you, Ghazi. A 21-year-old man named Xavier H. Russian, identified by the group as Colonel Keenum, was also arrested and faces charges of conspiracy to commit a felony, false imprisonment, kidnapping, aggravated assault, criminal street gang activity, and obstruction. According to the group, the Black Hammer Party was formed in Atlanta back in 2019, and it is believed to be extremist. Black Hammer members have openly said they have an alliance with the Proud Boys, which the Southern Poverty Law Center has classified as a hate group. Mubarak, the spokesman, said they don't mind being called an extremist group. We take that with pride. You take that label with pride, Mubarak said, because that means we're standing in line with those in history who have stood against evil and stood against oppressive systems. Romaine and Russian remain in the Fayette County Jail in connection to the investigation, but the group said they would fight the charges. This isn't the Black Hammer Party's first run in with the police, Mubarak said. Meanwhile, Fayetteville police said this is just the beginning of the investigation. Anyone with information is asked to contact the department. And all I'm going to say is, Ghazi, they finally got your black ass. First of all, let me tell you something about this man. This man basically was a YouTube personality that was really big. Has like over, I think, 300K subs. This dude back in 2020 was at 2018 was at the Pride Festival. And it was a festival that was supposed to be inclusive of all LGBTQ plus people. This dude gonna talk about how the white people, y'all was in caves while we was living in other Africa, and y'all hate us, and y'all colonize us. And let me tell you something, you ain't the same as us. Just because you LGBTQIA don't mean you are allies, all right? Okay, you are capitalist, oppressive people. And it's like he always goes after capitalism. I'm like, dude, pump the brakes, because that house that you got, that looks like a person who owns it is a capitalist, or at least is not one to live in a hut. You understand? He doesn't want to live in the projects, you know? And this is the thing that I said earlier. You cannot separate yourself from society. Only one way, and that is going to prison. Okay? Even if you are a nomad, you're still going to have to interact with somebody to survive. You just can't separate yourself. As well as you can hate the system all you want, but you can't separate it if you were born in the system. The only people that really can, besides the nomads and those in prison, are those people that grew, born and raised in those primitive cultures. And they don't even live in America. They live in South America. They live in the Andaman Islands. They live in the Sentinel Islands. You know, they live like away from people in Australia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, all those places. And they know how to survive. You don't, because you were conditioned to live within the system. Now, you don't have to be pro-capitalist. I get that part. You don't have to. It's okay. But let's not front and say that you're socialist, but you living in a beautiful 2-story home. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. A person who's pro-capitalist lives like that too. So, Ghazi, you did this to yourself. Which Garvey would love me. Garvey would love me persona. You wanted to basically be a leader. And Black Hammer comes off as a cult. It does. It comes off as boys who are angry about being gay and have been picked on. And you align yourself with the Proud Boys? Who would do that? Who in their right mind would do that? And this is why I was saying, I would love for Beverly Betty to talk that. I would love to hear her talk that, to find out that a gay political extremist group, a gay black male political extremist group is cool with the Proud Boys. girl, she would have a fit. Ha 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 ha. I'm telling you, they all BS. They're all BSing. But with that being said, I'm signing off from this. I knew it was going to happen. It is what it is. I think that he may not get a whole bunch of time, but he's going to do something. But see, that aggravated sodomy is no joke, because now it's saying that he raped him. Wow. I mean, it's not rape. R. So, thank you for listening. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Hit the notification bell. Share, comment, like, and I'll be back soon. Take care.
Man, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's really crazy. You know, at my age I'm at right now, I never thought I'd be seeing all these different groups pop up out of nowhere. There are loads of groups all over. There's cults globally on a global scale. Each cult carries a different thing, have a different meaning, has whatever. This guy, I don't know, when I saw the one where he's like dressed as a clown doing that funny talk, what came to mind was was it the Batman character, the woman, I can't remember, you know, he was reminding me of that. It's just interesting how he turned from influencer to something else. It's just crazy. You know, I think we know who he is by where he was in the, you know, the Pride thing. Obviously, you can. It's just like, why Proud Boys of all people? Proud Boys, the Proud Boys. That's worse than when I will say Nature Boy he was in the Proud Boys hand signs as well. Strange enough. These groups are they have weird concepts. The leaders are very weird. And strange enough, just like Heaven's Gate, once again, Heaven's Gate comes into my mind, where the leader was a bit, what they say, fruity, zesty. And, you know, he ruled over all over his group members, saying the most till they, you know, suicided themselves. And this right here, I mean, it's not new what we heard of his actions. There seems to be a lot of those cases coming up, with the sodomizing stuff coming up. That's what I'm noticing as well. So he's going to end up in DCAP, I think it is. Because I think that's the prison in Georgia. Those prisoners, he's going to have to go into PC, like Miko and others. And, you know, what can I say? It's left to be seen. I personally will not be following up this man's story, because he sounds like a bit of a fruitcake. He sounds like a bit of a nutter. Yeah, I'm just like, wow. So I'm going to take a look at that video, what he did again with the clown face. It's Harlequin. That's it. Harlequin. I'm trying to think of the clown face person. Harlequin. Let me see if I can find it. Right, there's a longer version to that. Oh, too big. There's a longer version to that video. Oops. There's a longer version to that video. So I'm going to play it with the clown face just to finish this off.
Hello, Antifa. It's me, Ghazi, the commander-in-chief of the Black Hammer organization. Land back. Land back. Land back. Land back. I heard you had some not so nice things to say about me. I heard you had some nice things to say about my hammers. I heard you had not so nice things to do to one of my members, one of my dear, dear members, an African Filipino mother that you doxed and thought you could get away with it, thought we were going to back down, thought we were going to take it. No, that's not going to happen. You messed with the wrong one this time. Yes, oh yes you did. Oh, yes you did. Because we don't take it lightly when harm is done to our African colonized women. And that's why at Black Hammer we say, touch one, touch all. 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 And you touched one of us. So now you touched all of us, and we're gonna have to do something about it. Land back, land back, land back, land back, land back, land back. And then you wanted to talk about me. You wanted to call me anti-Semitic. You wanted to call me an anti-vaxxer because we're against vaccines. You wanted to call me all kinds of horrific things. But I don't really give a damn. And none of us give a damn. But where you went wrong was when you doxed one of my members, an amazing African Filipino mother. And you made her so worried about her own safety that she had to pay for a more expensive security system, and she could barely afford it because you know that's the reality of us poor and working class Black people. We just don't have money to spend, make it rain like that, and especially not with COVID taking all of our jobs away. So we told you you need to pay up. We told you you need to give reparations to our comrade that you doxed. And let me clear up all those nasty things you want to say about me and say about my father. Land back, land back, land back, land back, land back. See, Antifa, you want to co-opt our movement, but we're not going to let it happen. Not this time. Male boys and girls in your suburban world want to jump on our hashtags just so you can come outside and play a video game and bust some windows, break down some businesses. Well, you've been messing up because you've been destroying Black and brown businesses. Yeah, the hair braiders and the barbers, the bodegas. You've been messing with our Black and brown businesses, small businesses that literally uphold 12 to 20 family members, just so you can play in the streets like the heroes or something. And then when an organization, Black Hammer, that's actually led by colonized people, Black and brown, poor working class people, you know, the ones that are actually dying, we're the Breonna Taylors, we're the Mike Browns, we're the Sandra Bland's. So who the heck are you? Leading all these protests, who the heck are you? Talking to you too, BLM. We know you're paid for by the Democratic Party. We know you'll do anything that the Democrats say. You're not for our people. You're pocketing all that money. Yeah, I saw that you made $2 billion this summer off of George Floyd's name. Fakers. But we've been leading our own thing. We've been doing our own thing. And Antifa wants to co-opt it. Nope, not gonna happen. They want to dox one of our members and think they get away with it. Nope, it's not gonna happen. Land back, land back, land back, land back. So we're coming here today to say very clearly 1, don't touch African colonized women, children, men, any of us, but specifically African colonized women. And if you think that we're joking, if you think that we're playing, maybe you should ask my niece's ex-boyfriend who hit her and knocked her tooth out of her mouth. Ask him how he's doing, because the streets may call him Jarrell, but I call him Sweet Booty. Ain't that right, Sweet Booty? Yeah, we don't play about our people. We don't do that over here. Land back? Land back. Because we really believe. Touch one. Touch all. Touch one. Touch all. Touch one. Touch all. Touch one. Touch all. That's what we believe. Yeah. And you touched one of us, and now you're gonna pay. I'll tell you how you're gonna pay at the end of the video, okay? Because we just want to have a conversation, Antifa. We just want to have a conversation, and then you give us the money that you made our African Filipino women have to pay so she can protect her family, because you doxed her because she said that she is not taking the vaccine and her child will not be taking this COVID vaccine. And you wanted to mock her and make fun of her for that. I guess you want to make fun of the fact that the Pfizer company is number 3 on the top list for being sued for wrongful death. Pfizer, who lied.
Okay, because we know that YouTube is so funny when it comes to this particular word. Right, I'm going to find one of his ex-members, because I saw a video with an ex-member a while ago. Let me find it, because he's doing too much. He's doing way too much. Let's find the ex-member. I saw an ex-member. Oh, they called him the Joker. Okay. Right, let's see if we can find the ex-member. So I just saw an ex-member situation. I call him a fake activist. Oh, here it is.
Are I don't know.
So, hiya, Contasi and Ms. Jelly. I'm going to play the ex-member because he was doing too much. I thought he was just going to go on and on and on about stuff, but because he's bringing up, you know what word, we won't let it continue. All right, we're going to show the ex-members talking, because in all these groups, sometimes you need to hear the insiders and what they got to say to. Oops. Oh. Let's see. Didn't even charge up the thing. Okay, so let's go to the ex-members.
What's like troublesome, please. I mean, I haven't said anything outright, probably because I know,
I mean, for the same reasons, and because, like, I just, like, to me, it just didn't seem like there was a need to. But there's a lot of, there's some things going on, some people that need some answers. Like, they're still using my jingle, which is like, okay, like, I made the jingle, y'all still using that. And by all accounts, sure, y'all like can, but like, it's in poor taste. And then at the end of the day, like, I am publicly renouncing like my, like, involvement with my continued involvement with Black Hammer. Just because you hear my voice in that jingle does not mean I'm up in there. Okay, I ain't up in there, and I don't agree with anything that they're talking about. You know, in terms of what they're doing with their membership, literally, and just the lack of transparency therein, let alone, you know, certain events as it pertains to what's happening or not happening with the money that people have donated and membership funds. So let me just put that out there. So if you hear it, just know that it's my voice, but it ain't me. If that makes sense. So yeah.
Okay. So I was trying to tag some people, but it wasn't working. But let's just get into it. Like while we left.
Notice the hand gestures and the way they're talking. So he recruited young gay black men. That's what he did. Because look at these two here sitting here. That's really interesting. So obviously the things he was doing probably wasn't new to them. But anyways, let's hear what they say, why they left Black Hammer.
We don't want to make this like a long thing. We don't want to hold y'all too long. Because honestly, it's not that deep, but we just like want to share some things and then like make y'all aware of some things, and then y'all can make your own decisions from there. But so basically, back at the end of February, early March, Black Hammer does this virtual event every Sunday called the Book Trap, which is like a revolutionary book club. I was the leadership over the propaganda committee, or like the education and culture committee at that time. And it seemed as if there was still some decision to be made about the book that we were going to do that month. So I had suggested Medical Apartheid by Harriet Washington. We do everything via chat. I'm not going to say, like, I'm not trying to build them up because, like, what I don't want to do in this live is put any more lives in danger than Black Hammer already has itself.
Right.
I'm not here to put the lives of colonized people in danger. So I'm going to be very curt about, like, the details of some of, like, the things that the organization does, because I'm not trying to give them up to the feds, because the feds will use any reason to take any colonized people out for whatever reason. And that's not what we're trying to do here. We're not trying to give white supremacists and like white nationalists and the feds like something to like go after them. We just here to tell our truth. With that said, in the chat suggested Medical Apartheid by Harriet Washington. People seem to unite, especially with what was going on with like what's going on with the pandemic and everything going on in the world with vaccines and of that nature. If you read Medical Apartheid, you know it gives the history of medical experimentation on Black people from colonial times to the present. No one's like, I thought that the book that was sold to me from leadership was A Taste of Power by Elaine Brown, who was a former Black Hammer chapter leader. Black Panther. And so I was like, wait, what? So where did this book come from? Oh, we talked about it in our meeting yesterday. Like, no, we didn't. There's a member that was the secretary at the time that takes notes like a stenographer, like catch your every word. I'm like, it's not in the notes because this person would have written it. When did it happen? It's like, you know what? We need to have a mediation about this. Like, we can't be going back and forth. I'm like, what? Like, you didn't tell me. Like, I didn't know. If I would have known, I don't want to make us look bad. I don't want to make myself look bad. I would have put it in the presentation, in the announcements, like it was supposed to be. At this point, I had lost my argument. I didn't have too much investment about what the book would be. I just knew we needed a book that was like easily accessible. So I offered a suggestion. Wasn't like tied to it emotionally. We had a meeting with the leadership of Agitation Propaganda, who was Sante at the time, and the Secretary General Anko. And basically in this meeting, and also the Secretary General's secretary or chief of staff was in the meeting at the time as well, taking notes. tried to make it seem as if I was being subjective about the book and basically wanted to get my own way and was willing to sabotage the work in order to do that, which was completely untrue. It was a miscommunication. I did not know about this third book, Inquilab, and it really became an attack on like my character and like my like attitude, which I'm really the most carefree person in the world. Like to laugh and joke all the time. I'm like, attitude.
Literally never showed Black Hammer an attitude once. Never once. And I've seen the attitude, and they've never seen the attitude. So it's like, what are y'all talking about?
But a meeting about like a contradiction and how to overturn the contradiction turned into a personal attack.
And I'm sitting there watching this happen, right? So eventually, right, just so that we can cut some more details, right? Eventually, and this is again why I left, but eventually they get to a point where Pat is asking for the notes to be presented, again, saying that the person who had taken notes takes notes like a stenographer, and that person would have definitely written the book in the notes, right? So when it is asked for the receipt to bring up, Sante starts getting loud. Now, it is completely not professional, but mostly definitely not proper militancy, nor a show of any kind of real leadership or respectful for you to start raising your voice, especially when someone is asking for a receipt, which is due them as a leader themselves, right? So when you get to the point where the voices are starting to be raised, if y'all know Pat is just going to be like, wait, why are you yelling? Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, why are you yelling? And like kind of retreat to some degree. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, wait a minute. So this is when I get on the mic and I'm like, excuse me, what's not going to happen? And I come in booming. And do y'all want to hear it? Put a comment if you want to hear what the boom sound like, because the boom is a sonic boom. Okay. I was trained as a classical basso profundo. The boom is sonic. Okay. It's going to rattle your speakers if you want to hear it. Okay. So at the end of the day, I knew what I was doing. I was like, excuse me, this is it. So I was like, hold the fuck up. What's not going to happen today is y'all not going to talk to Pat any kind of way for asking for a receipt.
That's what happened.
When the note needs to be brought up and the receipt is asked for, what you're going to do is bring up the receipt and not talk to mine any kind of way. That's what's not going to happen. So they were like, oh, Chief Olu, who, right? Because these people are afraid of Black people anyway, right? And it's been called out on multiple times that they were afraid of Black people. Multiple times it's been called out. There's been multiple examples of Secretary General Anko specifically, not only fucking up shit within the Black Hammers leadership, especially their Black leadership in the first place within the organization, but also all kinds of other fucked up shit as it pertains to colonized people in organizations that he was in the past. So like
lying on Ghazi in a meeting over their opinion about something.
Okay, like period. And exactly, Fletch, when the love is real, not mine. And the truth of the matter is, if it would have been anybody in Black Hammer that they were trying to do that to, because out of respect and out of justice, this is supposed to be a revolutionary organization. Y'all not about to do no witch hunts up in a revolutionary organization. I will not fucking stand for it. I don't give a fuck what level of leadership I am on. I don't care.
And to add insult to injury, I got a call from another like leader in the organization before we had this meeting, that they were going around contacting members under my leadership and in my chapter trying to find out like dirt on me, basically. Like anytime I've acted out, anytime I've tried to like manipulate, like asking these questions like, what? And they gave me a heads up, but also said nothing at the meeting.
Right.
So like there was a meeting after that. But yeah, Jack said what they had to say, and that happened a few times.
They were talking about, oh, we're gonna have to have a meeting. Chief Olu was like, we won't. They was like, we're gonna have to have a meeting. I'm like, we won't, Chief Olu, because this is unacceptable. Don't care. Period. Okay. And you're Victoria. I was trained as a basso profundo. Who knows what my actual voice type is? Okay. I was trained as a basso profundo and then sang Barry for mad long. So like, who fucking knows? You know what I'm saying? I will take it. I would love to be a tenor. Spinto, goddamn. That motherfucker spin. So I'm okay with that. Let me train me. Let's get up on it. But at the end of the day, you're just not going to talk to anybody in any kind of way. So it continued to go be a witch hunt. Like Pat said, they literally went around and asked people kind of stuff. We got that information, that tea. If y'all know me, I'm going to get the tea one way or another. Okay. So, they tried a few more times to come in and get disrespectful. Sante very, very much specifically felt like he needed to boost his chest every other chance that he got. They were like, oh, this is a book. We can't be arguing over a book. No, I'm blacking on y'all because y'all are making this situation about a book more serious than it is and acting like Pat has made it more serious than it is. That's why I'm blacking on y'all. Because how dare y'all? How dare y'all? There's nothing wrong with calling out a contradiction, right? But when somebody says, hey,
I've been called out before on shit more serious,
and did not stop that contradiction situation coming up, but let it have happened to Ghazi before, somebody stepping in like, hey, Ghazi's not here, so we're not talking about this. Oh, this person's not here, we're not talking about this. So I'm like, oh, so y'all sweeping in on the opportunity to what? Split me and Pat up so that y'all can have better control of us? It's a cult. That was when I was absolutely.
And like what was said to me in the meeting is like, we feel like you would choose your like subjective relationship with Jack.
They took long enough to get to that point that they realized it was a cult. They didn't realize it was in a cult. They just wanted to be part of something, part of a movement, and then they didn't realize it was a cult. But then even though, like, with all that said, right, they're arguing over a book, it's a power struggle going on. That's real interesting. See, young people didn't know. The young people, if you don't do researches on groups and check out certain stuff, you'll just accidentally bump into a cult. Ghazi must have been that good. His words must have been that good. He must have got you lot recruited so well. But let's listen more to what these guys have to say, because I feel that they're going to be droning on. I'm not going to the point. I just have to forward through this video because we need to get to the point why he left. There must be a reason why he left. Something must have really bugged you, because he must have been doing the utmost, because he looked like he does the most from the videos alone.
Over the revolution, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, at this point, like, we're not doing anything. My guy without mask, bitch. Of course, it's my husband. Are you fucking crazy? I was too tired to say that. I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'll talk to him. Fine. Like, and then like after the meeting was done, told them everything that went down, and I tried to like get them because at that point I was tired. I was like, I just want this. Because I still believe that I still do believe in the revolution. I still believe that the Black Hammer's principles of unity are a good core foundation for us as colonized people to move forward in the revolution. The fuck shit that goes on with leadership, I do not believe it. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the shit that like the organization claims is doing and can do is smoke and mirrors.
Period.
Because they're like, well, actually they don't even have the reach.
They don't have the grasp. They don't have the reach, the grasp. They don't have the resources, nor do they have the knowledge or competence to utilize the resources that they do have. They can get y'all some masks though, and when that's not important anymore, I have no idea what they're going to try to do for the people. You know what I'm saying? Maybe feed y'all a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Which they do. Which again, there's so much that they do and that they at least talk about that is so far superior to any other organization, which most of them are also cults, including Black Lives Matter, which is some kind of like social media cult where like everybody is like, do Black Lives Matter or no? And it's like,
yeah.
I really don't give a fuck if this person thinks that Black Lives Matter or not. I know that they do, period. So like, all I care about is whether or not you are going to confront me with violence or anything that's going to make my life dangerous. And if you do, you getting taken care of.
That's it.
I don't know. That's it. There's nothing else to say. And there's, I don't need to know your ideology in that regard. So, yeah.
Rafi, I see your comments on my page. It's not coming up here. I don't know why.
Okay. Well, what's Rafa saying?
Just like agreeing and like commenting.
But yeah, so like when I'm trying to be, when I'm getting convinced, or not effectively, but when I'm getting convinced to make this self-criticism, I'm like, I've made self-criticisms without anyone even noticing that something needed to be critiqued. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about me not wanting to make a self-criticism. I've literally been like, hey, so I have a self-criticism. I am critical of this, and this, right? You know what I'm saying? About all kinds of stuff that like slowed some shit down or like whatever have you, and mentioned the impact, which is the whole point, because you have to understand the colonial impact of what it is that you fucked up with or whatever have you, right? It was popping. That kind of thing is what we need. That kind of thing is very much what we need.
And if you want to learn more about criticism, self-criticism, Reed Miles, Combat Liberalism, you can like just Google it. It's free. You can find it.
Right. It's lit. You know what I'm saying? That shit is necessary for the revolution. It's necessary for decolonizing your mind and decolonizing your surroundings. Okay. So I was about it. Again, we're saying like their ideology, the principles of unity, that's like everything. You know what I'm saying? That's everything. But I was like, nah, they trying to pull an okie doke. They trying to make, they don't understand which most military operations, right? Because it is a military operation. Most military operations have a few things. They understand the need for your unit. Oh, say the Mal book.
It's like it's an essay. It's called Combat Liberalism by Mao. Mao Zedong. Can you write that in the chat? I can't say.
Sorry for the switch of camera, y'all. How you say something?
Just put Mao.
Yeah, if you put Mao, you'll get it. So I'm like, no, they're trying to pull an okie doke. That's wild that they would call me manipulative when at the end of the day I was legitimate earnest. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just earnest. There was no manipulation possible. It's like, I hear you raising your voice to mine, and yes, I'm going to come in here and completely stop it. You're going to know exactly how far this can go so that you never do that again. He did not take heed to the word, so I kept doing what I needed to do, okay? And at the end of the day, and this is me, Pat's not going to like the fact that I'm going to say this. At the end of the day, none of you bitches can take me, and y'all know that. At the end of the day,
you bitches.
At the end of the day, y'all have been. At the end of the day, y'all have been punk bitches the whole time, and I called y'all out on your bitch assness in a few meetings before this whole situation went down, and y'all proved your bitch assness right up in this meeting. And at the end of the day, nothing, not a juju, not even a single weapon that you might hold on your hand, and not damn near not your fist. Your bitch assness is proof that y'all don't have the resolve to even match me in a bout. So let's be very clear. What you were supposed to understand in that moment, yes, you were supposed to feel threatened and scared. You're supposed to understand in that moment that your leadership does not circumvent my leadership in my motherfucking house.
I say.
Your leadership in this org, since one, you can't pay for my housing. Hello, this is one thing that military groups have to be able to guarantee their people, okay, before they can ask much of anything
and
from them.
And we're not talking about
alone
12 people living in a one-bedroom.
No, we're not talking about some makeshift commune. We're talking about I have my own space, okay? We're talking about me and mine have our own space. You can provide me housing. You can provide me 3 square meals a day, okay? And I don't have to think about shit when it comes to my education or money and period or anything that I might need, including medical, okay? In order for you to be a military power that can demand half of the shit that y'all were getting, let alone demand the kind of loyalty and militancy that y'all want from people to be able to say, okay, when it's up to Black Hammer, fuck my relationship. Y'all not providing nothing. Y'all not providing shit. There was a time that we couldn't even go on outreach because our phones were not on because we couldn't handle the bills. Okay. and y'all couldn't even help us with part of the bills. So let's not, with all the work that we were doing while still working.
So he must have been using the money and the resources and not putting it towards where it's supposed to go. If they didn't have the resources to look after the members. So basically, like, he was using you all, probably getting money from you all as well.
So let's not, all the money we were donating while not being able to pay our bills. So let's not talk to Pat that way, who's just asking for a receipt. And let's not ask Pat to give me, to make me come through with a self-criticism, talking about I'm abusive, I'm scary, I'm threatening. Look, it is not, here's the thing. I am a two-spirited individual. I am male. Mm-hmm. There are things that I've grown up that does indeed give me male privilege. There's shit that I've grown up with that is very assured that I'm two-spirited because people feel it and treat me like a lady, okay? Here is the thing. Your fear of men has nothing to do with whether or not I am going to tolerate disrespect of anyone in my unit. And your fear of men does not dictate how I'm going to utilize the body that I was given in order to make sure you know never to fuck with me and mine ever in your life. Because once you come for mine, because what you were trying to do is establish some kind of fuck shit to make Pat look out to be something so that you could, one, convince Pat to do shit that would make her look different than this narrative that y'all were trying to pull, right? And two, you try to usurp whatever power you thought she was building up, which was indeed a power that would be able to usurp everything that y'all were building, because y'all were just proving yourself continually incompetent. And Pat was one of the only people that was able to teach anybody anything, create anything from start to finish, and do anything that y'all are still using because it succeeded.
Still using my format. Yes, you are.
Guess who was the only other person to do some shit like that? And I'll give it to Ina too for still
using my format and stole my new one after we started doing our podcast again.
Right.
Switched it up. Now they're using the format that I created for our podcast. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. But let's digress, because like we've been on here for a half an hour and I don't want this video to be too long.
Right.
Share this. I'm gonna share this a couple places,
right?
If y'all want niggas to know. But
and even still, there's some merit to the idea that the public persona versus the inside persona is two different things. But the inside persona needs to be the truth. The inside the org persona is truth. The outside persona could be truth with a little glitter. You know what I'm saying? Or truth with some spikes, depending on where you're going, or truth with some, you know what I'm saying, with some kind of additive to make it, you know, attractive or to do something specific. But up in the org, it just has to be straight, transparent, no filter truth. And that's it. And that's what was missing, right? Because there was a fishy smell before I got up in there that was like, it smelled a little fishy. But watching Pat work with the org, it seemed like it was just a little bit of a level of incompetence. Then when I got in there, I was like, oh yeah, some people just don't know how to do shit. You know what I'm saying? And okay, that's fine. We just got to get y'all on doing shit and knowing how to do it. And me and Pat tried our best. You know what I'm saying? Pat even more as it came to organizing and like shit as it pertained to like how the org was going to look and all kinds of shit. So
people don't talk straight, do they? Don't they seem like they're skirting around why they left? He said the reason why he left was because he wasn't organized. One. Another reason was that the persona to which Ghazi was putting out on the outside wasn't what it was in the inside. If I'm reading between the lines rightly. They also spoke about a book which they were reading, and there was a bit of a kerfuffle about the book. It was a Black Panther book, where they was using it as a template. Not only that, Ghazi used some of their intros or something to do with the internet, podcasting. He used some of the template to that. So he took their creativity from them and used it for himself. And that's what I picked up from this whole conversation here. They really took ages to get to the last point, but I'm not going to let it continue because I'm sure there is other stuff pertaining to the Black Hammer, because I saw another one. I know, sorry, I'm not going to make this video long-winded. I'm just going to try and get up a few examples of my guy.
That standoff lasted.
Got people kidnapped inside this house. This is stupid and I'm glad they.
Okay, let's see if we can find another one. Right, let's see Ghazi before all this drama happened.
No, we're not pulling out the rat.
The rat.
For the people, Black Hammer Records. Black Hammer Records. Every Sunday, Woodrow Park, 12 p.m.
Okay, we ain't gonna play loads of that, but see how he is. Like, it's pretty obvious what he's about and all that. You can tell from the video what Ghazi was about. I mean, there's no denying what he is. So with that said, I think I'm gonna end it here because I'm not gonna play out this whole video because it's long already. So I'm going to just leave it right here. Thank you for passing through, Big Philly G, Leonard, Miss Jelly, and Contasi. Now, if you haven't heard of the Black Hammer Party, get to know the Black Hammer Party, because there are probably more organizations being built, even as we speak. Not necessarily same as this one, but it might be others. I mean, I'm going to try to bring the one from Nigeria. There's one from Nigeria that I need to talk about as well myself. I'm going to try let's research that one and bring it forward. So with that said, I'm going to come off. I'll see you. Take care. Bye. I just thought I'd bring this to the channel. Okay? All right.